Gone indeed.
Singing the Pundits! We are live again! Back again, ladies and gentlemen. New year, new me. Yeah!
This would be the same you because that's how you done the intro before.
This is true. This is true. Alex, how are we doing?
I'm great. I'm fantastic. First pod back after the new year. Sorry it took us so long. We were all sick, maybe a little bit in the head. Who knows? How are we, Louis?
All good, all good. 2021, new lockdown, new year, new lockdown. So yeah, looking forward to obviously doing this podcast with you guys. So yeah, I've missed you lot.
Oh.
Missed you lot. Yeah.
Oh wait, I shouldn't do that.
Podcast friends.
Oh, friends.
What's the
Guys,
topics today?
Obviously, a lot has been happening in the football world since our last podcast. Topics today, we are focusing on our one true love, Liverpool FC.
That's all the misses.
Three games ago, it was looking fine and dandy. 3 games later, we're not so sure. We'll be diving and delving into the key topics. We'll bring you a halfway assessment of the Premiership. Who are the contenders? Who's looking like they're going to challenge for Liverpool's title? Who's looking dangerous? Who's looking solid? And then finally, I'll be bringing the guys a cheeky little question right at the end, which they are unaware of. So we'll be reacting to on the spot. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our podcast here on Sick of the Pundits here on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram. We will be bringing you content on Facebook and all the other usual social platforms. And we have a website in the offing, obviously. So we do appreciate it. Liverpool FC is looking rosy around the Christmas period. We were top. We just spanked Crystal Palace 7-0. And now we can't score a goal. We can't score in a brothel. We can't just do anything right at the moment up top. Josh, what are your thoughts? Why are the front three misfiring?
Well, I did say this at the start of the season. I want this to be a record. I said the front three are tired. Tired like me. I said the front three have peaked. I said that. Not necessarily like it's all going to go kaput straight away. It's not like that. Football's not like that unless you're Fernando Torres. But I generally feel that watching it last season, to the end of last season, obviously we won the title and everyone thought, well, it's just maybe the players are just down in tools because we won the title. But there was something missing. Like Firmino was already on the sort of downward spiral, I felt, even during last season. But I've been told by these two that, but we won the league. But yeah, I was just like, yeah, but you don't look the same player. There's something missing. And then I think Mane and Salah fell out last season. I don't know what's happening, but I would say that I think Jota gave the lightning bolt to our attack and then he got injured and we haven't got our mojo back. Maybe the loss of both Gomez and Van Dijk offensively has affected us because defensively we're not too bad. I think defensively we're the second best team in the league after Man City, but offensively we're just not there. We can't score a goal at all. And like every game that we watch, it takes like ages for us to get a shot on target. But even if we do get a shot on target, it's straight at the goalkeeper, I feel.
Fair enough. Alex, are we just unlucky at the moment? Well, obviously, you've watched the last 3-4 games. What's your view on how our attack's looking at the moment?
Well, I think it's unfair to say that the front three are tired or whatever. Players have dips in form through season. That's normal. One of the big factors is that our 2 main centre-backs have gone. You say defensively hasn't affected us, but we don't win as many aerial duels now. Passing out from the back isn't as easy into midfield. And that majorly affects the way we set up. If you think about how some of VVD's passes out wide to Salah spring a lot of our attacking options open kind of thing, we don't have that anymore. Fabinho not being in the middle of midfield again is a big factor too. Even though he's arguably one of the best centre backs in the Premier League at the moment, missing him in the middle is definitely a big factor to how we progress through the thirds in attack. So just as a whole, the way the season's gone in terms of injuries and stuff like that, you can't really, even though because the front three have been the way they have been the last 3-4 seasons and they've been firing on all cylinders, it is a bit unfair to expect them to always do it. We may have been spoiled previously. I mean, players have dips in form, you know. People say Firmino obviously hasn't been playing as well, which you can argue he hasn't, but he's still been pivotal. He's secured us points this season as well, you know. A lot of it does go down to injuries, but again, everybody kind of has that, but we've definitely had the bad brunt of that. VAR hasn't gone our way this season as well, as much, let's say, as other teams. So a lot of things do factor into it. What I would say, though, is no kind of time to panic. We're only 3 points off top, and the season is still wide open. It's still got loads to go. One of the big things, I think, in the next few weeks that I was looking at over the fixtures is that we're playing against teams that kind of counteract the way we're playing now. So the next few weeks don't look like they're going to get better. Who we got next? We got like Spurs, Burnley, and who's the other one? I can't remember. Spurs, Burnley, and I think we're playing Moyes. Yeah, Spurs, Burnley, and West Ham, I think it was. And those teams traditionally defend in a low block and counter well, which again is kind of our kryptonite at the moment. So you can expect a lot maybe of us seeing a lot of the balls, 70, 80% possession, a lot of crosses, not finding anyone, a lot of shots off target. A lot of the same of what we've been seeing, unfortunately. We do need the spark, like Josh mentioned, obviously, the way Jota kind of came in, we do need that option at the moment, and we just can't find it. It is a dip in form and a dip in confidence, but I don't think it's anything to worry about just yet.
I just want to touch on a few things Alex said, though, really quickly. So Alex said you spoke about how the defense, which I did mention, I think the lack of the defending in terms of the way Van Dijk releases the ball, and I think that's why Jordan Henderson is playing in that position, because Nate Phillips and Reece Williams can't do the kind of passes that Jordan Henderson can do from the back. But then, and you did mention the Fabinho bit as well. But what I would say to that is that we are still creating chances. Like Mo Salah's top goal scorer this season.
Not good chances though, especially lately. They haven't been like quality chances. If you look at our XG per game, it's not as high as it used to be. So the quality of chances we're making are just like, it's not what it used to be. So you can't expect them to be finishing these chances.
But what I would say to that though, it's not only the front three's different form. I think Trent's been disastrous as well this season. I think he got COVID
he's not been the best.
Season, I heard. And maybe it strained him differently. Or maybe people have found out how to stop Trent. I don't know, but I wouldn't even say that. I just think some of his defensive decisions have been terrible, and maybe he's had to track back a little bit more or be in himself a little bit more defensively, and that's getting him in his own head, because some of the mistakes he's making are mistakes that you expect Nico Williams to make, and I'm just being honest, like he's making defensive errors that like he shouldn't be making anymore. I look to the
more so ones that are costing us, don't you think?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I wouldn't say he's making more mistakes, because he did have a defensive lapses. It's just now it's kind of costing us with goals and big chances, so they're a bit more evident.
No, but
he's not making as many assists as well, which is obviously clear.
But I think it's his ability not to track back as well. I think that's frustrating. He doesn't really track back as well. Like it's just one of those things where, like, I remember I always watch football with my dad, and I'm just like, we're always saying, "Where is Trent? Where is Trent?" And you see him tracking back, and it's just like, "What are you doing?" So it's just frustrating watching that. But then I honestly look at the front three, and I feel I just feel like they've come to the end of not, like I said, individual players. I think they're all fantastic. They all do what they should be doing. But as an ensemble, I just feel like they've come to the. I don't think they're going to get any better, and that's all it is, because they were outstanding. Like we're talking about some of the best strike three that the Premier League's ever seen, but they're not going to get any higher those levels anymore. And it's the way that Klopp does his system, the way Firmino's played almost every single game under Klopp's tenure. And you have to hark back to his Dortmund team as well, which also hit a wall. Their attacking force also hit a wall. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, they lost Lewandowski, but their team, Götze, hit a wall. Like, it's one of those things where the players kind of run themselves into the ground. So I just think that I would sell. Personally, if I was part of the Liverpool team, I would sell one of them. I don't know who it is, but I would sell one of them and just re-go again. I think it's that time. Like I said, Jota's already come in and given our attacking force a new a lease of life. And for me, if I had to choose one, I don't know if this is a question later, but if I had to choose one, Louis, I would choose Mo Salah because I think we'll get the bang for your buck from Mo Salah. And also, I look at Mo Salah play football, and honestly, I can see why other fans don't rate him because yes, he scores goals, but if he doesn't score goals, it's a little bit like he doesn't make the right passes. He runs into players sometimes. It's incredibly frustrating. I know Alex will have a problem with what I'm saying.
Alex, obviously, Mo Salah, top goal scorer, potentially one to be sold off, according to Josh. Fair, when on the balance of his overall play potentially.
I personally would never sell Mo Salah unless he wants to leave. His record speaks for itself, and even this season, he may not be performing as high a standard, but then what player is? If you look at it, kind of every player is kind of not performing as well across the Premier League. You could argue Kevin De Bruyne is not performing as well as he once was, but you don't hear City gonna sell him. Mo Salah is unique in a sense where his football IQ may not be the highest, but that boy delivers. He delivers. He may miss 4 chances in one game, but he'll score one, and that goal will be vital. And at the moment, he's just not doing that, which could be attributed to anything. It could be a dip in form, could be low confidence, but that happens to players. I don't think it's time to be ringing the bell to say let's cash in on him, unless like we're guaranteed Mbappe or Haaland or any of them guys. But are they really going to come? Even if we sign Jadon Sancho, is he going to be as good and give you the productivity that Mo Salah will? These are all question marks. I'm not saying that these players can't do it, but then it's a question mark. Whereas with Salah, you're getting goals regardless.
And I agree with Alex. I would only sell him for a top player. And
if he wants to leave,
I would sell. No, I would sell him anyway.
If he doesn't want to leave, I'm not selling him. I'm not selling Mo Salah. It doesn't make sense to you. He's in the prime of his life right now. He's at the prime age.
Yeah, well, 28.
There's no point. There's no point. If he hits 30, so his strongest attributes, obviously, one of them being speed, and decline normally starts at around 30. So he's still got another 2 years left at the top, arguably, maybe even more if he keeps in good shape. He doesn't drink or smoke or do any of that. So, why would you want to sell, especially if a player's happy? When a player's happy and confident and settled in a place and they know their role, there's no reason, in my opinion, to sell. But I know fans are quick to say, let's sell players when there's dips in form or whatever. But what's the word I'm looking for? Just a bit of I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but it's like there's too many knee-jerk reactions. We're not there yet. I don't think we should be at a stage where we're selling Salah or even thinking about selling Salah.
Yeah, so and I agree with you, but I would only sell Salah for an Mbappe or a Haaland or even a Sancho. But I would obviously buy another player with that. But the reason why I would sell him, it's not because I think he's in a different form. I would sell him because I think he's our best asset, in the sense that I think we'll get the most money for a Salah. I don't think we'll get as much money for a Mane, and I personally prefer Mane to Salah. Just in terms of IQ, just in terms of his gameplay for the team.
Wait, is the question? I just want to double check. Is the question, would you sell Salah, or is it out of the front three? Which one would you sell? Because they're two different questions.
So my thing is, not if I would sell Salah. My thing is, I would sell Salah
out of the front three.
Out of the front three, I would sell Salah because he's the best asset. Salah. He's the best asset to sell.
Okay, that's a different. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you.
I reckon he'll get the most money for Salah, and I think especially if PSG lose Neymar, lose Mbappe, which I think is definitely going to happen. Either a run to Liverpool is what I believe. And I'm them. I would go for a Mo Salah. Muslim guy, Muslim owners in terms of the country. He would blow so much more in PSG, and even for Mo Salah, a chance to play with Neymar would be great for Mo Salah. And I've heard they're also interested in Kun Aguero as well. So why not? It'd be an awesome front three.
Fair play.
Fair enough. So yeah, we've that's a lowdown. From our point of view, on the Liverpool front three. Another story that was big in the news sort of within the last sort of 24 hours. criticism for our new Brazilian midfielder, Thiago Alcantara.
Blasphemy.
Apparently, according to Didi Hamann on Talksport and various other
John
sources,
Barnes as well.
John Barnes. He's also apparently Thiago is slowing down our moves in midfield and the attack. Obviously, he's coming back from injury and COVID himself. Is this criticism a bit too, as you say, Alex, a bit too knee-jerk? Don't know if you're a fan of Thiago.
This is why I get mad at pundits, because what kind of stupidness is that? He's slowing down the play. I don't even think he done that in any way, shape or form. That guy plays 1-2 touch when he needs to. He holds onto the ball and dribbles past players when he needs to. He finds players when he needs to. He got the most interceptions, most passes, most touches, most passes forward in the opposition half, and yet you want to criticize his game as if that's a priority. It maybe just be pundits trying to get a headline so that their name stays relevant, but they're all idiots and they don't know what they're talking about. It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand in any way.
Josh, how do you see it from your point of view?
I mean,
You better agree with me, Josh.
No, it was like when I saw those people tweeting that. Anyway, I was in my feelings anyway because Liverpool suck right now, and when Liverpool suck, I get off social media. And Lakers lost yesterday, so I'm fuming. I get off everything now. I don't want to care about sports.
Steph Curry with the shot.
Goddamn podcast. But what I was gonna say is that when guys say that Thiago slows down the game, I think that's the most stupidest thing I've ever. That's like saying Paul Scholes slowed down the game for Manchester United.
Yeah.
No,
Xabi Alonso slows down the game.
Slowed down the game. Well, maybe, and hold on. And if he slows down the game, I don't even see that as a negative. I see that as
maybe it needs to
make the best pass possible for my team. Not pass it sideways. Not pass it the other side. Let me make an effective pass. Let me think about it and make an effective pass. But anyway, even if you see Thiago play football, that's not the case. The guy's always on a half turn. All the time.
Always.
He probably gets rid of
Josh
than anyone else. Like, I was listening to this.
They're grinding my gears. They're grinding my gears. Oh my God.
And maybe, and I think maybe like people will say, oh, he doesn't score a lot of goals. He doesn't score a lot of, get a lot of assists.
He's not there to score goals anyway.
He gets the assist before the assist. If you watch how he plays football, he slows the game down, which is a negative for some reason, but he makes key passes. He gets the ball from defense to the final third better than anybody else in the league. Totally dominated that game. I'm supposed to see Bruno Fernandes, who's Mr. Hollywood, who just does Hollywood passes all the time. He does stupid passes all the time. And if they come off, oh, he's an amazing player. He's got so many assists, only scores penalties. And I'm meant to be lauding him for that. But Thiago literally is the thing that our midfield has missed for the last, I don't know. I've not seen this since Steven Gerrard was playing in the deep role.
Do you know why else, yeah? Do you know why else is dumb? Because one of Thiago's strongest attributes is that he turns defense into attack quickly.
Yeah.
He'll make an interception, play the ball forward. He'll get the ball from defense, spin on the half turn, beat the line, beat the midfield line, switch the play. That's like one of his strongest attributes. So to say he slows the game down, I don't even know what that means. Nah. It's just one of those terms that these guys throw out just to be, just to grab the headline and some shit or something. I can't believe, makes me mad. I don't understand. They shouldn't have a voice.
Liverpool suck right now, so you can say these outlandish things, and then most people will be like, "Yeah, that's why."
You know what? It might be
average
true.
fans like.
Yes.
Like Alex Watson.
The average fans, they're all idiots. Oh man, too mad.
Let's move on from Thiago. Are there any transfer options potentially for Liverpool that anyone we could sign in this January window, or do we think
we need to set
is anyone available though? Who's
available?
Who could come in? Is anyone of the sort of quality?
No, but like I said to these guys, so we have our group chats and we have conversations, and I said Ben White is the target. That's who Liverpool want.
No, you said we were going to sign him.
Yeah, but he's the target.
Those are the words you used.
But I think Brighton wanted too much money for Ben White at the time. Ben White
so we didn't sign him,
and I think we're going to go in for him in in the summer of 2020.
But we didn't sign him in the summer transfer window when you said we were going to sign him.
But
Alright,
I heard a lot of things. I heard he didn't want to come and play second fiddle to Gomez, which is fine because he's a young centre back just like Gomez is. But for me, if I'm a centre back and I want to play for a top team, to learn under Virgil van Dijk would be very important for me anyway. And then if I'm looking at the Liverpool centre backs, Matip's an injury prone, and so is Gomez. So you probably get a lot of chances anyway. But I don't think we're going to sign a centre back. I think Liverpool are gonna. I don't think Liverpool are going to sign anyone. I'll be shocked if we do. And I think Liverpool are going to spend big in the summer. I think that's the plan. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but like we had a discussion about these players leaving Bayern Munich. I think Liverpool right now have a philosophy, have a stance of how they use their transfers, and they don't go against it no matter what. Like even when we didn't get Virgil van Dijk that summer, we didn't panic. We waited. We didn't buy anybody else. We waited, and I think that's the same thing, and that's the process that's made Liverpool make Liverpool one of the best run teams in world football today. And I don't think we're going to do any panic buys or anything like that. We're going to wait and see what's the best option. Now, that's what I believe.
Fair enough. Let's wrap this up with Liverpool then. Alex, any final thoughts? Any transfers you reckon that could come through?
I heard we were gonna try and but one of the rumors was that that out of favour Madrid centre back Milito, apparently he's available on loan with the option to buy. To be honest, I'll take not anyone, but we need a centre back. We're playing both our defensive midfielders as centre back right now. Can't trust the youngsters. Like, we just need a centre back. Like, why do we sell Lovren, man, without replacing him? That's a big L for Klopp this summer, because I didn't hear anything about. Well, obviously Josh mentioned Ben White, but then that fell through. So not signing a centre back was definitely a big L. We need a centre back, man. The quicker we can get one in the better. It doesn't look like we're going to sign anyone, but it is going to majorly. I wouldn't say we're not going to win the league because of it, but it's going to make it that much harder not having one. Having to rely on Matip. You don't think we're going to win the league? Nah. I mean, I still think we can, because the only other team that I'm kind of scared of is Man City. United, in my opinion, they are where they are, but they're not title challengers for the sole reason that they haven't been there before in the last, 5-6 years or whatever. So when it gets to nitty-gritty time, they're not going to be around. The only two people who've been there and done it over the last few seasons are City and Liverpool. So yeah, we need a centre-back, and I don't think we get one, so it's just going to be that much harder.
This does move us quite nicely onto our next topic. So obviously halfway through the Premier League now. Leicester currently top of the league by a point, courtesy of their win. They're currently winning 2-0 at Chelsea. But there's 6 points that separates top spot from all the way down to 7th. You got your Leicester, Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Spurs, Everton, and West Ham, who won tonight. Obviously, Alex, you've touched on it already, saying City look sort of quite strong there. Josh, what's your assessment of the teams that are up there? Who'll stay up there? Who's going to tail off, do you think?
I think Leicester's learned their lesson from last season. I think their team's good enough. I think their team they've got a solid 11 for sure. I think Leicester's going to be up there. I think Leicester's definitely going to finish top 4. I'm going to call that a shout now, actually. And Brendan Rodgers really messes it up. I would say top 4. I'm hoping.
He's known for.
I'm hoping for the top 4. I'm going to say I think City's probably going to win the league. I want to say hopefully Liverpool either second or third, and then Leicester finishing 4th. I really think we're not scoring goals right now, so I don't see it changing until Jota comes back. And when Jota comes back, there's going to be so much more pressure on him. It's mental. I'm actually hoping Liverpool just win top 4 and a trophy. But bro, look at
Wow. Go on, Josh. Go on, finish.
I was just gonna say, like, I think the Premier League this year is ultra competitive because the teams have never had to do this before, play back-to-back games so quickly in a short space of time, and I think it is affecting certain teams. And then I just think your Leicester Cities of this world have a really good, strong 11. Your Evertons are going to be up there as well. Like, really good manager, really good, strong 11. And then yeah, Man City are just Man City are not conceding goals at the moment, and they're rolling teams at the moment. So yeah, I'm going to be very pessimistic on this one. I'm just hoping Liverpool finish top 4.
Third.
Fair
I said
enough. Fair
third.
enough. That's Josh's view on the title chase at the moment.
Oh
Alex,
my
how
God.
are our rivals looking to you?
No, they look good, kind of as expected. You know, I said we weren't going to run away with it. But I want to point out that when we at the start of the year we had our predictions, I think Joshua changed his whole top 4. And then next month he's gonna go, I called it. I called it, guys.
I will.
Or if United finish second, he's gonna be like, no, but I said that at the start of the season, but somehow they don't make a top 4 now. It's like, what?
No, I said top 4.
Who? You said Liverpool, City, Leicester, and who? Oh, United. My bad. All right, cool. So okay, fair enough.
You see,
But-
this is what he does.
You also said Chelsea were gonna make top 4 as well.
Yeah.
But bro, I mean, City are as expected, in my opinion. Anyway, I always said they were going to be about it. I don't think there is any other contenders other than City and Liverpool for the title. Leicester are not title challengers, in my opinion. Rodgers is known to bottle it anyway, and they bottled it last year. He bottled it with Liverpool, so maybe he makes top 4 this year, but I still don't think they will. I think United will make the top 4 just because they're United and they have their way of playing, and the referees love them, and the Premier League loves them. They'll find a way to make top 4 and stay in the title race as long as possible.
How are the London clubs looking for you? Like the traditional big
Like,
London clubs, Tottenham,
Arsenal.
Spurs, and Arsenal.
Arsenal disappointed me this whole
Chelsea.
season because I really wanted them to be good. No, I didn't want them to. I just expected them to, and I don't like being wrong. And they have fallen off. But actually, saying that, they're not that many points off top 4, but I don't think they'll make it. Chelsea, well, we all know what I think about Chelsea, and I don't think they're making top 4, and clearly they're not at the moment. And they just lost again tonight. Spurs, I always said that they'll make top 4 under Jose Mourinho. They've got a good team. They've got a team that are capable of getting top 4 and have done it before. So I think my top 4 stays the same for this season. I do want Liverpool to win, but obviously 1 and 2 will be City and Liverpool in whichever order, and then Spurs and United. It stays the same from when I first said it at the start.
I actually forgot about Spurs, to be honest. So, yeah, like we always do.
Yeah, like we always do.
Fair
Yeah,
enough,
not that
guys.
important.
Fair enough. All right, that's the halfway stage of assessment from us, sick of the pundits, on the Premier League. Guys, just my sort of generic question I was going to ask for you. It's nothing controversial or anything, but it was a question I heard on another podcast, actually. So
Yeah.
Wayne Rooney obviously
Good, you're not gonna
retired
shout them out.
recently. Now, moving on. I'll take the credit for the question. So Wayne Rooney retired recently. Would you say that's as a player, was he potential fulfilled or potential unfulfilled? Obviously, if we look back at his trophies, 5 Premiership titles, 1 FA Cup, 3 League Cups, 1 Europa League, and 1 Champions League. There always seems to be a bit of a question mark over whether he is sort of like a really top player for me. Like he's not in this sort of like Steven Gerrard sort of class, or is he? Have I got that one wrong? Josh, you looked a bit shocked there. Any views on this one?
So I thought about this. Long and hard as well, because for me, I was thinking, Rooney, he was great, but was he like? You had Ronaldo, you had Tevez, But then I was just like, wait a second, this guy's the highest goal scorer for Manchester United, the highest goal scorer for England, and we're gonna say he's
England, yeah.
And the thing is, he wasn't even like a goal scorer. Like that wasn't his game. Like he could do everything. That's what made Rooney quite special. I would say he was the offensive Steven Gerrard, and that's why I like Rooney. I think, in all honesty, and you can look at his goals as well. Spectacular goals. Like I think, lived up to every potential. Honestly, the last great Manchester United team, or that. He was
wait, let him finish, Alex. Let him finish.
Yeah,
highest goal scorer for Manchester United in the history, and I like to
I know the
rate that.
stats.
Manchester United had amazing strikers: Andy Cole, Ruud van Nistelrooy. Maybe he didn't have the length of time that Rooney had, but like I said, Rooney wasn't a goal scorer like that. Cristiano Ronaldo played for Manchester United. This guy is the highest goal scorer for Manchester United in their history. Bobby Charlton, all this, yeah. And then are we going to say, like, he didn't fulfill his potential? Maybe there's a question mark for England. Did he fulfill his potential for England? But I would put that question mark on that entire generation of English football players. Your Steven Gerrards, your Frank Lampards. They should have, Rio Ferdinand, they should have done better. They should have done more. So I can't just blanket term Rooney under that potential. I think he did everything and more for Manchester United Football Club.
And more.
Because look at Man United now. Look at players like Pogba that are supposedly great. Like, come on, man. Like, Ray Rooney is a big part of why Liverpool, he ruined my childhood. Like he's the main part of that. Like, he was the main part of Manchester United's greatness. Like, come on, man. You have to give it to him. I think Rooney is one of the greatest Premier League players to ever play. Honestly. Greatest English
To be fair,
top 2 English players I've ever seen.
To be fair, I was not expecting such a good.
Steven Gerrard and Wayne Rooney for me.
Okay. Fair enough.
Honestly, Josh, really, really good answer. Alex, any thoughts and opinions?
So don't get me wrong, Rooney is a quality player. If we're talking about ability, he's definitely up there, top 5 English players I've ever seen play football. Now, the question was, do you think he lived up to his potential? Now, obviously, you've got all the stats where he's top United goal scorer, top England goal scorer, stuff like that. One of the biggest things that I kind of have against Rooney, if you're answering that question, is that his longevity at the top took a big tailgate, and he ended up in the MLS and then in Derby, and it just went downhill very, very quickly, and it wasn't at, because obviously he burst onto the scene at 16. So he's been in the game long, but then if you look at the years where he tailgated off, he should arguably have still been at the top, how old is he? 35, 36?
34, something like that, I think. 35, yeah.
34, 35 is odd. Just in comparison, James Milner's 35, and he still plays for Liverpool, Cristiano Ronaldo is still playing in Italy, in Juventus, and he's older than him. So if we're talking about living up to his own potential, yes, he set the bars high. Yes, he was a fantastic player, but in my opinion, he could have been up there in the names of Messi and Ronaldo because he was right behind them and all right with them in those years. He was the face of FIFA for how many years, alongside Ronaldinho. It wasn't Messi and Ronaldo, it was him. So he arguably was the guy back then, and his tailgate is like towards the latter stage of his career, it really fell off. And that's why there's an asterisk. If we're talking about him as a player, his attributes, his skills, second to none. He's amazing. But did he live up to his potential where he should be named amongst the best ever? I don't think he did.
That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing you said. He tailgated after Sir Alex Ferguson. When Ferguson left,
yep.
you can see his decline from there. Is that fair to say?
You can say what?
When Fergie left, that's when his decline happened.
Okay. How old is he?
What I'm saying is, but you're comparing him to Ronaldo, who's one of the best players of all time, any era. Yeah.
Okay.
So you wouldn't say Rooney, you wouldn't say any English player is anywhere near what Ronaldo is. So why we can I think that's
so what I'm saying is Rooney was England's biggest potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He never got to the stage where he was considered the best amongst the best,
Oh, he
and
did.
his potential. Not when.
When Manchester United was dominating through I want to say from 05 when he probably burst into the scene to at least 2011, Rooney was always one of the best players in the world.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Then towards the latter stages of career, it went downhill. Which is why which is my point. Everyone doesn't see him as a top guy because he didn't end his career towards the top. He fell off many levels. Steven Gerrard went to MLS for one season and then retired.
Yeah, Rooney went for one season.
He went to Everton. He then went to the MLS and then he went to Derby, and it went downhill.
Yeah,
It
but
went
to
majorly
become a
downhill.
player manager,
And not only that, his performances at Man United in the latter stages of his United career, they weren't exactly the best. He went from striker to attacking midfield to centre mid
because he
to
could do
no
everything.
position to
'Cause he
no
could do
position.
everything.
No, because they couldn't find him in position, but he was the captain and the most paid player, so they had to play him. His performances weren't great. You know, they weren't
That was Manchester
they
United.
weren't
Fergie, though.
they weren't at the potential that they once were. And I'm not putting this as an asterisk to say Rooney's a bad player in any way, shape, or form. But the question was, did he live up to his potential? And his potential was to be alongside the likes of Messi, Ronaldo in
Harsh.
that bracket. Even maybe not even in that bracket. Let's not say them. Let's say the ones below.